After watching Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3, Episode 3, I realized Kirk becoming captain of the Enterprise is unfair to Pike's other successor. After watching Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3, Episode 3, I had an unexpected reaction, not at Captain Pike's latest moral triumph or amusement at Spock's increasingly human struggles, but a pang of guilt on behalf of a character who doesn't get nearly enough credit. For decades, we've all accepted that James T. Kirk was destined to take over the USS Enterprise. It's practically written into the DNA of Star Trek. But after this episode, I couldn't help thinking, was it really fair that Kirk became the captain instead of Pike's other natural successor, Lieutenant Una Chin Riley, #1 herself? Fair might sound like an odd word to use about Star Trek. After all, we are talking about a universe built on merit, diplomacy, and destiny, not personal grievances or office politics. Yet Season 3, Episode 3 of Strange New Worlds, titled Inheritance, forces us to reconsider who truly earned the center seat after Christopher Pike. The episode subtly, even painfully, underscores just how much Una represents the same brand of command idealism that Pike embodies. And by the time the credits rolled, I found myself wondering if Kirk's rise to command wasn't just a historic inevitability, but a quiet injustice. Pike's philosophy lives on, in Una, not Kirk. At its heart, Strange New Worlds has always been a show about leadership. Pike's brand of command, compassionate, measured, and deeply moral, stands in stark contrast to the brash charisma of Kirk and the cold logic of Spock. Pike listens. He believes in his crew's humanity, in their right to fail, to feel, to grow. He's the kind of captain who doesn't just save the day, he saves people. Episode 3 hammers this home once again. When faced with a humanitarian crisis involving a colony on the brink of collapse due to a mysterious planetary instability, Pike chooses empathy over efficiency. But what struck me most wasn't Pike's decision-making, it was how seamlessly Una anticipated, mirrored, and amplified his values. She wasn't just following orders. She was embodying the very leadership Pike built the Enterprise around. When the crew found themselves split between staying to assist the colonists and preserving the ship's safety, Una took command of the away team. Her quiet authority, her care for every officer under her supervision, her refusal to leave anyone behind, it all echoed Pike's signature ethos. Watching her lead was like watching Pike's legacy unfold in real time. She wasn't just a first officer. She was the next captain waiting in the wings. And yet we know how this story ends. We know that someday soon, Kirk will take command, and Una will still be standing just behind him, brilliant but overlooked. The quiet power of #1. Rebecca Ramin's performance this season has been especially powerful in its restraint. Episode 3 gives Una some of her best material since Season 2's Ad Astra per Aspera, where she faced a tribunal for concealing her Illyrian heritage. That episode established her as Star Trek's most quietly defiant figure, a woman who challenges Starfleet's ideals not with rebellion, but with integrity. In Inheritance, she becomes the emotional and strategic backbone of the mission. When the away team loses communication with the ship, Una takes command of a group of stranded officers and engineers a daring rescue plan with the kind of precision we usually associate with Kirk at his best. But the difference lies in tone. Kirk leads with instinct. Una leads with principle. Her command doesn't radiate swagger, it radiates strength. One exchange near the midpoint of the episode sums this up perfectly. When a young ensign panics about disobeying Starfleet orders to save trapped colonists, Una says, "Orders matter, but so do the people we serve." It's pure Pike, distilled and unflinching. The moment quietly reinforces that she's not just Pike's student, she's a successor in spirit. And that's when it hit me. If Starfleet truly believed in the ideals it preaches, merit, courage, compassion, Una Chin Riley would be the one in the captain's chair of the Enterprise. Not Kirk. The Kirk problem. Charisma over character. Don't get me wrong, I love Kirk. I grew up on the original series. His confidence, his humor, his ability to outthink gods and computers alike. There's a reason he's iconic. But Strange New Worlds has done something remarkable. It's made us see the cost of his legend. Paul Wesley's portrayal of young Kirk is intentionally complex. He's not yet the swaggering hero of TOS. He's brilliant but impatient, idealistic but impulsive. In previous episodes, his decisions have skirted the line between genius and recklessness. He's still learning how to balance his ambition with empathy. That tension comes to the surface again in Season 3, Episode 3, where Kirk and Una briefly clash over how to handle the colony's crisis. Kirk wants to act fast, even if it means breaking Starfleet protocol. Una urges caution, arguing for a measured approach that minimizes loss of life. Pike ultimately sides with Una because, as he puts it, we can't save the future if we don't protect the present. It's a line that lands harder than expected because it foreshadows the philosophical gap between Pike and Kirk. Kirk's command will eventually reshape the Enterprise into a vessel of adventure and risk-taking, the very spirit that defines the original series. But in the moment, it feels like watching the torch pass from a philosopher to a gunslinger, and it's hard not to wonder if the wrong person caught it. Starfleet's blind spot. Part of what makes this realization sting is that Star Trek has always claimed to celebrate diversity, not just in race or species, but in thought, temperament, and leadership. Yet when it comes to its captains, the franchise has often gravitated toward a very specific archetype: the bold, decisive, rule-bending male commander. From Kirk to Sisko to even Janeway in her more aggressive moments, Starfleet valorizes audacity over subtlety. Una, by contrast, represents a different kind of strength, the kind that holds things together when the world is falling apart. She's the glue between Pike and Spock, between order and chaos, between idealism and pragmatism. But that kind of leadership doesn't always get rewarded. It's taken for granted. Watching Episode 3 made me realize how Starfleet, and perhaps the writer's room of history, never really considered that the Enterprise could have been hers. She's more experienced than Kirk, more level-headed than Spock, and arguably more emotionally intelligent than both. And yet, because her leadership style is quiet, it's invisible. Starfleet promotes the loudest voice in the room. It's a pattern Strange New World seems increasingly aware of. The show's writers have been using Pike, Una, and Kirk as philosophical contrasts, three faces of command, each valid but not equally valued. Episode 3, intentionally or not, feels like a love letter to the leaders who never get statues or starships named after them. Pike's true legacy isn't Kirk, it's Una. In many ways, Strange New Worlds has become less about Pike's impending fate and more about his influence. We already know his tragic destiny. What we don't know is what his leadership will leave behind. And the answer, increasingly, is Una. Episode 3 makes that lineage explicit. When Pike is forced to temporarily relinquish command due to radiation exposure, he appoints Una as acting captain. The bridge falls silent, not out of doubt, but out of respect. For a few glorious minutes, the Enterprise is hers. She gives orders with clarity, commands with heart, and saves the day without a trace of ego. It's a masterclass in leadership, and a reminder that she's every bit as capable as the man she serves under. By the time Pike returns, his approving nod feels bittersweet. It's a mentor acknowledging a successor who will never officially